holidays behind us now, it's a good time to delve into the mind of the U.S. consumer, namely you and me. The consumer plays a vitally important role in the U.S. economy and the jobs outlook. So how are these trends tracking, and what do they suggest about the outlook for 2014? For some insight, we turn to our own Jim Russell, U.S. Bank senior equity strategist, to get his perspective. Jim, Happy New Year.
Same to you.
So we as consumers spend money in a lot of ways. How would you best categorize this spending?
Well, consumer spending is probably in the broadest sense really categorized in terms of personal consumption. Now, there's a couple of different ways to look at this. Personal consumption really captures the full array of everything that we spend money on. Now, the trends here are pretty good, Brian, and that is we increased 0.5% from November over October. That is the 7th consecutive increase in personal consumption that we've seen in 2013. We of course hope that this extends into 2014 as well. Now, importantly, this is a number that is for both goods and services. Retail sales oftentimes grabs the headlines around holiday season. How many sweaters are people buying? Hats, gloves, boots. In your case, maybe a bass boat or something.
No slippers.
No bass boat this year. And so, importantly though, the service component of the consumer spending is starting to actually almost eclipse goods spending. I'm talking about health care, I'm talking about housing, that sort of thing. And consumer spending does represent 2/3 of GDP in this country. It matters very much, not only what the consumer feels, but what the consumer is doing.
What do you say then are the factors that are driving these spending patterns?
There are several things that really come into play. The key one that we see the most correlation is consumer income. Now, that is best maybe tracked by something called the real disposable income. Real disposable income for you and I is after tax, after inflation income, what we have left over to actually spend. And so what you can see here from the chart is that consumer spending tracks our ability to spend money, and that is real disposable income. The two spikes that you see, by the way, are tax decreases by both President Bush and President Obama at the payroll level. So you can see that that does jostle around real disposable income on occasion.
So what do you think the mood of the consumer is now as we go into this new year of 2014?
It's an interesting question, Brian, and it's one that's very important for the outlook for jobs and the growth rate for the United States in 2014. We think the mood of the consumer is primarily pretty good. We think that we're seeing very strong trends in auto sales and home sales. And that's important because consumers generally do not buy big purchases like that unless they're confident that they A, have a job, and B, that they're going to be able to keep that job. So the confidence level is very important there. Online sales really showed very strong spending patterns the holiday season, up 9.4% this year. Retail sales in general are up about 3% or so, but online really carried the day. And the consumer confidence trends recently reported are very good. And so that's reported by the University of Michigan. Lower interest rates, lower gasoline prices, lower unemployment, higher home prices, higher stock prices all feed into that. So we think that perhaps there's something to look forward to in terms of increased consumer spending as we move through the year.
Pretty solid start. We look forward to another good year with you, Jim, and U.S. Bank. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.